As you settle in and let your breathing soften, imagine a quiet dawn spreading across the wide Carpathian basin, mist drifting gently over riverbanks, sunlight glimmering on distant hills, and from this peaceful landscape we begin the slow, soothing journey through the entire history of medieval Hungary, a story shaped by migrations, kingdoms, battles, cultures, and quiet resilience, beginning long before the Hungarian kingdom emerged, when nomadic peoples crossed the Eurasian steppe in search of new lands, and among them were the Magyars, led by tribal chieftains whose names would echo through legend. Almas, the visionary ancestor, and his son Árpád, the leader who guided his people into the heart of Europe around the year 895, a moment gently remembered as the Hungarian conquest, when riders on swift horses crossed the Carpathian Mountains and settled in the broad, fertile plains that would become their new homeland. And as you drift deeper into this calming narrative, you can picture those early Magyar clans building camps along river valleys, tending herds, forming alliances, and preparing for a future that none of them could yet imagine, a future in which they would transform from a Roman confederation into a structured Christian kingdom at the center of medieval Europe. And as the land settled beneath their feet, the Magyars launched raids across Central Europe, swift lightning-like attacks that startled kingdoms far and wide, until the defeat at the Battle of Lechfeld in 955 gently nudged them toward change, encouraging them to adopt new ways, embrace diplomacy, and reshape their identity. And under Grand Prince Gaza and his remarkable son Stephen, later crowned as Saint Stephen I, Hungary entered a new era, aligning with Western Christendom, building stone churches, founding counties, and laying the foundations of a kingdom that would endure for centuries. And as you breathe slowly, imagine the early Hungarian kingdom taking shape. Quiet villages, along forest edges, monks copying manuscripts in candlelit rooms, farmers tending fields beneath the warm European sun, and royal messengers riding between newly built fortresses, carrying laws and orders meant to unify the land. And into this growing stability came trade routes, merchants from Italy and Germany, travelers from Byzantium, each carrying stories, goods, and influences that blended into Hungarian culture, creating a rich tapestry woven from east and west. And those Stephens. Rain brought structure and peace, time moved gently forward, and new rulers rose, each shaping the kingdom in their own way, some strengthening it, others weakening it. Yet the story of medieval Hungary always moved like a calm river, sometimes smooth, sometimes turbulent, but always flowing. And during the 12th century, under kings like Ladislaus I and Kaloman the Learned, Hungary expanded its borders, encouraged literacy, introduced new laws, and fostered society known for its order and hospitality, where knights trained in countryside estates and royal courts echoed with music, feasts, and diplomatic gatherings. But medieval life was never free from hardship, and as the soothing rhythm of the story continues, imagine the distant rumble of hooves as new storms approach from the east. For in the 13th century, the Mongol invasion struck like a sudden tempest, sweeping across the plains with overwhelming force, burning villages, emptying towns, and leaving deep scars upon the land. Yet even in the face of such destruction, Hungary survived, rebuilt under King Bela IV, who invited settlers from across Europe to restore abandoned lands, encouraged castle building, and earned the title the second founder's state, because his resilience shaped a stronger, more fortified kingdom. And as the years unfolded softly across generations, Hungary blossomed into a diverse medieval realm where Hungarians, Slovaks, Germans, Romanians, Croats, and many others lived side by side, contributing to a culture that was both unique and deeply interconnected with the surrounding world. And as you let your mind gently wander, picture the royal court of the Árpád dynasty, knights polishing chainmail, scribes recording events, craftsmen forging ornate weapons, minstrels singing ballads of ancient heroes, farmers bringing goods to market squares, and children playing in castle courtyards under golden sunlight. And after the Árpád line ended in 1301, Hungary entered a new chapter where foreign kings, powerful barons, and ambitious families vied for the throne. Yet even in these uncertain times, the kingdom held together, guided eventually into stability by the rise of the Anjou dynasty, especially King Charles I and Louis the Great, whose reign crafted a golden age of Hungarian medieval power, with victories abroad, trade flourishing, and laws refined to keep order in a vast and diverse kingdom. And as you breathe deeply and slowly, imagine the vast forests, the fortified towns, the border fortresses watching over quiet frontiers, and the glittering Danube River carrying merchant boats filled with wine, salt, metal, and cloth, connecting Hungary to Venice, Poland, Bohemia, and the Balkans. And through this gentle time-traveling drift, we arrive at the 15th century, when one of Hungary's most iconic figures emerged, John Hunyadi, a brilliant commander who defended Christian Europe from the Ottoman Empire, leading victories such as the defense of Belgrade in 1456, where bells still ring at noon each day to honor the moment when Europe was saved, and his legacy passed to his son, Matthias Corvinus, one of the greatest Renaissance kings of Central Europe, whose reign filled Hungary with art, architecture, libraries, scholars, Italian humanists, and the famous Black Army, a professional standing force that brought innovation to medieval warfare. And as Matthias strengthened the kingdom with learning and justice, his court in Buda shone like a jewel of the Renaissance, where scholars debated philosophy, musicians performed elegant compositions, and artists decorated halls with rich murals, while outside the capital, ordinary medieval life continued in its gentle rhythm. Shepherds guiding flocks across rolling hills, mill wheels turning along riverbanks, markets bustling with merchants, and festivals lighting up quiet villages. And through this peaceful landscape, the centuries of medieval Hungarian history slowly unfold like a warm, calming tapestry woven with stories of resilience, adaptation, conflict, creativity, and unshakable identity. And as your breath grows deeper, let the narrative settle softly, carrying you into rest, knowing that even as kingdoms rise and fall, their legacies drift gently into memory, shaping the world in quiet, lasting ways.